Yo, first things first, peep the hat. Collab I did, Wealth Squad did would be more wealthy. So, say wealth in the front with the sports logos, dope as hell. And then underneath, say invest in yourself. Post a video for y'all, but you can't even get them no more. They sold out. So, if y'all want to get those drops, go on bro page. Is B_more wealthy. I'll tag him. And y'all get on his VIP list. So then when the next drop come, I think you get like a day early access if you're on that list. And yeah, and the next drop is gonna be the best one, right? So we did the assets hat, and then we got this wealth one, and the next one's gonna be the best one. So I got the samples in the house. I might just start wearing them out, but it's gonna be a limited number. It's gonna be, these are out of 250. So we made 250 of these. We're gonna make a lot less of the next one. So it's gonna sell out fast, so y'all get in. Second thing, so the last video I posted on YouTube, I sold my G-Wagon for some Bitcoin, right? So I bought like one Bitcoin and some change. Bitcoin was 105,000. Today Bitcoin's 107,000. So I'm up a little bit, but who cares, right? That's gonna take, 3-4 years to play out. I mean, it's gonna be up like crazy later on this year, but I'm gonna get back and remind y'all in a few years, right? So the goal is to swap a car for a house, right? That one Bitcoin eventually is gonna be a house, and I'm not even gonna sell the Bitcoin to buy the house. It's gonna, you know what I mean? But it's gonna become a house. The car's gonna become a house. So what I've been doing the last few days is selling off my watches, right? So if y'all been following me since, let's say, like 2020 or below, before the pandemic, or 2021. So what I was doing was I was buying real estate, I was buying stocks, I was buying crypto, and I was buying watches, right? I was buying like Rolex watches. I had a authorized dealer, the Rolex store that's in the Caesars Palace in Vegas. I was living out in Vegas, and I was just collecting watches, right, as a store of value. And actually it worked, because if you think about it, 4 years later, 2025, I go and sell my watches. So I stored my wealth in my watches. It underperformed Bitcoin, but the money wasn't spent, if you know what I'm saying. So I get to wear watches around. Some of them I wore, some of them I didn't, and then turn around and sell them for, about what I paid for them, and get some watches. So I'm waiting for one more to sell. So I left it with bro at the store. He said he'll probably have it sold by Saturday. But all in all, I got like, first check was 97,000 for 3 watches, and the next was 77,000 for 4 watches. So what's that, like 160 something, 167,000, 170,000. Then the watch that's at the store is 30 something, 32 or something like that. So about 200,000. So sold my watches for about $200,000, right? Now these are just the ones that I bought to store my wealth in, right? Those are just the ones that I bought to store my wealth. So I had Vacheron, I had a bunch of Rolexes, and then I had a Hublot. Now I still got some cool watches, like here's a Cartier, and I got another Hublot, I got an AP. But the watches I didn't sell is because they were gifts. So like my dog Vic, he gifted me 2 watches for my birthday, right? So for 2 different birthdays. So I watch on one birthday, watch on another birthday. I'm not gonna sell those, obviously, right? Sell gifts. But the watches that I bought to store my value in, and shout out my boy Vic too, man. That's a dope ass gift. The watches I did buy to store my wealth in, I've now transferred that to Bitcoin. All right. So I made my buy with the first day I sold for 97,000. I've already made my buy. So yeah, I bought some Bitcoin. That's going to age well. I'm going to take a watch collection, and that's going to turn into a house like this. I'm going to take a car, and it's going to turn into a house like this. And y'all going to watch it all play out, right? So in Bitcoin news, we got the director of the Federal Housing Authority saying, hey, you're going to be able to use your Bitcoin, as a legit asset to qualify you for a mortgage, which is dope, So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they're going to, I think they back like 70% of all all mortgages in the country. So they're going to be able to look at your assets and say, hey, you got assets. So this is different than borrowing against your Bitcoin to buy the house. So using Bitcoin as collateral is one thing, but just them acknowledging, hey, this guy has an asset, the asset's worth X amount, or he has these assets worth X amount. So we're not just going to look at income. So for y'all who don't know, when you go get a mortgage, I really don't know because I ain't never had a mortgage. But for y'all who know this, they'll look at your income and then they'll also look at your assets, right? So they're going to be able to use, or you're going to be able to use Bitcoin in that asset column. Because there are some people out there that might have $700,000 in assets. Maybe they make $50,000 a year. They're not going to be qualified as the person that makes $50,000 a year with no assets. You know what I'm saying? Some people have a lot of assets. They don't have a lot of income. So, you know, for y'all who have been stacking up, maybe you got 2 or 3 Bitcoin. When you're ready to buy a house, Bitcoin $300,000. Boom. You know, you got $900,000 in assets. You make 70, 80K a year at your job. You can afford more than somebody else who makes $70,000 a year, but doesn't have the assets. You know what I'm saying? You'll get qualified for more. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's the thing. Texas signed in the Bitcoin reserve. That's the thing. So they're going to start buying. That was cool. What else I want to talk to y'all about? Oh, the war. Hey, isn't it crazy before that war started how Elon said that this big, beautiful bill is going to sink the American economy? Oh, we hit $37 trillion in debt. So Elon was saying that this big, beautiful bill that Trump was trying to get passed is going to sink the American economy, right? So they start going back and forth. Boom. Then Israel attacks Iran. Iran fires back. Everybody starts thinking about war. Now there's a ceasefire, right? And when a ceasefire comes, all right, there ain't no big news today. There wasn't no big news yesterday. But what a coincidence that the United States debt hit 37 trillion. Now, in January of last year, January 2024, the debt was 34 trillion. But in the last 18 months, we put like $1.5 trillion or something like that, right? We put a decent amount of debt. So at this rate, imagine looking at it like this, like you're paying for stuff on your credit card, right? And then when it's time to pay off that credit card, what you do is go get another credit card. So when that credit card bill is due, you owe for the first credit card and the second credit card. But what your solution is to go get a third credit card. That's what we're doing with the debt, right? When we got to pay for things, we got to pay for, you know, our Social Security, we got to pay for the Department of Defense, we got to pay all these things, but we don't have the income to do it. So what we do is we just go raise the credit limit. It'd be like, imagine if, you know, you max out your credit card and then you go approve your own limit to get raised so you can spend more. Or you got a brother, which would be like the Federal Reserve, that says, yeah, don't worry, we'll spot you. Like, bro, unlimited money. Makes no sense. But anyways, so all this is like, you know, like moving. What you start to realize is Bitcoin held 100,000. It wicked down to like 98.8 or 98.9, but it held $100,000. Now, when you come back and watch this video in like 2025 or 2026 and beyond, you're gonna be like, damn, that made so much sense. I seen the big move and Bitcoin was coming when a war was about to kick off and people were scared of World War III and Bitcoin barely budged, right? That's because people all around the world, because think about this. All right, if Israel's getting bombed and Iran is getting bombed, right? Let's say I'm a wealthy person in Iran and you're a wealthy person in Israel. Where would you want to have real estate? Not in your country and not in mine, because they both gonna get bombed, right? So there's people around the world that need places to store their money, not just here in America. People everywhere. Well, there's wealthy people everywhere. They need somewhere to store their money. You're not gonna store it in real estate if you live in a country or city or town that can get bombed or that can get taxed or that can get robbed, right? So we got this like asset. We have this monetary network system that allows people to store their wealth no matter where they live, no matter where they're from, and it's open to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So those wealthy people, I guarantee some of their buildings got knocked down. They're probably thinking, you know, twice or 3 times about, hey, instead of buying a extra house, just put my money in Bitcoin, right? So as the war was getting ready to kick off or whatever, people start putting their money in the gold and putting their money in the Bitcoin. So you guys are going to see it. Now what's going to happen is Bitcoin's going to run, right? Bitcoin's going to run. And then we're going to look back and we'll be like, oh, why didn't we see it teleporting from 105 to 300,000 Every day you wake up, there's a new Bitcoin treasury company. What a Bitcoin treasury company is, a company that stores their treasury, their savings account, their company savings account in Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin treasury companies buying up hundreds, if not thousands, of Bitcoin a day. Bitcoin ETFs, hundreds, if not thousands, of Bitcoin a day. Everyday people like me and you, now nation states are going to get there, right? They're going to be, the state of Texas is going to start buying. Missouri, Utah, wherever, all these states are going to start buying, right? And then federal government, like actual governments, like, are going to start buying. So when Bitcoin teleports to 300,000, you're going to watch this video and you'll be like, damn, Chris knew what he was talking about. All right. So another thing I'm going to tell y'all is, I know how hard it is, bro. So with this, we'll call it 200,000 I just got from watches. That would have been 7 Bitcoin just 2 years ago. 8 Bitcoin, 7.5 Bitcoin 2 years ago. Now that's 2 Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? I sold my G-Wagon for 1 Bitcoin. That would have been, at 30,000, that would have been 3 Bitcoin. At 20,000, that would have been 5 Bitcoin. At 20,000, the watches that I sold for, let's say 200K, would be 10 Bitcoin. Now it's only 2, right? So yesterday, I hit a milestone in my Bitcoin stacking thing, and I'm like, damn, I've been chasing this goal for a long time. I used to be able to buy 5 a week. I used to be able to, hey, I'm getting some money, I'm doing this trade hits, boom, buy some Bitcoin. Bitcoin's running away. So now it's getting harder and harder and harder. So even somebody, like me, I'm still like, all right, it's getting harder, but I'm not taking my foot off the gas, bro. Like, when I tell y'all send a blitz, I mean send a blitz. So I'm looking around the house. I'm like, what can I sell, bro? What can I sell to get more Bitcoin? Because I realize I don't have enough Bitcoin. And if you don't have more Bitcoin than me, you should be doing the same thing, right? You're not rich enough to ignore Bitcoin. I'm not rich enough to ignore Bitcoin. None of us are rich enough to ignore Bitcoin. So we have to send the blitz, bro, because what's going to happen is you put in all this effort to get to 1 Bitcoin or get to 2 Bitcoin, 3 Bitcoin. And in a few years, when Bitcoin's $1 million, you're like, damn, man, I literally bought $1 million for 100 grand. I did that 3 times, right? So you buy once, you get rewarded forever. But anyways, I got some footage for y'all, me just like moving and grooving, and then got those watches sell is an easy thing, man. Just keep up with the box, the tags, the warranty cards, all that good stuff. Went to the shop down in Houston. Oh, Houston was flooded. That was crazy. A lot of people had to pull over and just wait for the streets, I guess, because their cars wasn't gonna make it. But yeah, just moving and grooving, man. So there y'all go. We'll do an update video on this in the near future. I sold my watch collection. We'll call it 2 Bitcoin for 2 Bitcoin. I sold my G-Wagon for 1 Bitcoin. I'm sending the blitz. I'm doing everything I can. I got 3 extra Bitcoin this month, right? I stacked 3 Bitcoin this month. I feel good about that. 3 Bitcoin in the future is going to buy me a big ass ranch with 1,000 acres in Texas, man. It's that serious, y'all. So do whatever you can, sell whatever you can, get a extra job on the weekends, work after work. When you get off work, go to work again and get to 1 Bitcoin. All right, I'm out. Enjoy the footage.